Here is a 2024 Genesis GV70 Sports Advanced Package, 3.5 twin-turbo V6 in a uni white over black Napa leather. When you're going Sports Advanced Package, you're getting a lot more luxury amenities in the interior. We have the upgraded engine, so it's going to be more of a performance variant. But there's still a problem and some pros and cons. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and the sports styling on the exterior with the gloss black elements highlight all the attributes to make it look more athletic than pretty much anybody in its rivals when you're thinking about BMW, Mercedes, Volvo. Quad LED headlights and daytime running set the staple, making it more of a flagship look so you could tell a Genesis opposed to the German rivals. 7.3 inches of clearance, active grille shutter with the gloss black elements that's going to be highlighted with the smoked out chrome and a long hood that's going to house the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 that's producing 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque compared to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 18 mpgs for the city, 24 mpgs for the highway. New wheel design. This is the Sports Advanced Package, so we're getting 21-inch wheels. Otherwise, standard will be a 19-inch wheel. Larger brakes are implemented this year on all of the Genesis line, and I like how they pay attention to detail. Starting off on the front, you'll see the grille pattern. It works its way down the skirt with a pinstripe in the gloss black, taking it to the rear bumper and giving that smoke chrome across all the window trims. And this has the electronically controlled suspension with road preview. And now we're going to show you what the automatic parking is. So you're going to lock the vehicle, hold to start the vehicle. Because we're close to another vehicle, we're going to push the P backwards. And you can also do this forward by pushing the forward button. And this is a nice feature if you're trying to scare any friends, acting like somebody stole your GV70, or if you just need to get in and out of something that's a tight fit for a parking garage. And when you turn on the turn signals, because most people don't like to use them, when you go Sports Advanced Package, it'll show you that on the gauge cluster through the camera. So that way you don't necessarily have to use the blind spot monitoring, even though you have it. This also gives you a 360-degree reverse camera, and towing is up to 3,500 pounds. So when I'm thinking rival perspective, all-wheel drive, it could send 100% of the power to the rear wheel. You can't even do that with Lexus. But Mercedes and BMW, you can. But then you're getting a bargain when you're coming into the Genesis and keeping all the luxury and yet a dynamic drive in the rear illustrates that the most with the dual exhaust outlets that's housed with the grille pattern. And the diffuser will be on the lower trim, quad LED taillights, and the lower trunk lid spoiler gets highlighted with the gloss black elements, keeping it simple. Power liftgate going into 28.9 cubic feet of storage. Does sit up a little bit. And on the sides, you're going to receive a little storage and a 12 volt. Underneath the floor has a storage cubby with the spare tire. Split fold the rear bench in the back. That's going to increase the cargo to 58.9 cubic feet. We get bag holders on both sides. This is the twin turbo V6, so we need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. Leather wrap seats, but because this is the Sport Advanced Napa leather, 16-way power seat adjustment, heated, ventilated, massage, and 12-way power seat adjustment for the passenger without massage seats, and no massage seats for the passenger. Headroom and leg room. The GV70 has a wide footwell, except for the passenger side. This bulges out, which is a bit of a con to me because of how much space the driver has. It is driver focused with a 14.5-inch infotainment screen that comes up out of the dash, which has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. Because this is the Sports Prestige, we have the digital key put it into reverse, and we're going to get the 360-degree reverse camera with full trajectory that is also part of the package. When you click onto there, this is your 3D view that you can go all around the vehicle, and you can change different camera layouts for the backup. Dual climate control settings, and it is a touch pad, so it's sensitive with the finger recognition. Leatherette is going to be around the top trim. That's also part of the package with the suede headliner. Leather wrap steering wheel, perforated on the side, multi-function with the paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster has a digital reader on the side that can go through an array of information for the driver. And the driver mode select right there, so it's easy to go with snow, eco, comfort, sport, sport plus, and custom. And what's nice about it is when you turn your signal on, you can see the camera. So that way you don't have to worry about blind spot. You still get blind spot monitoring. The center has a wireless charging pad, USB ports, and the key fob for the GV70. You get the rotary knobs to turn up and down the volume. Rotary knob here is going to control the infotainment screen. This is to engage the vehicle in reverse and drive, and you get the brush aluminum pattern. It's going to be soft to touch, opens up with a 12 volt. It's a pretty deep storage pocket and a little storage cubby on the top. The door panel on the dash, configuring together, and I like the seamless air vent look that goes into it. Keeps it nice and sporty with the contrast stitching in red. It's going to be soft to touch, one touch up and down for all the windows, and a long storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out. The Lexicon premium sound is part of the Sports Advanced package with a large panel moonroof and an auto-dimming rear view mirror. For the back seat headroom, and these seats recline, which you can have a lot more headroom. Storage behind both of the front seats. Air vents, USB ports, home plug, cup holders with an armrest, and the door receives the same trim as the front. That contrast stitching, you get that seamless air vent, and a smaller storage pocket comes into the back. Sliding into the center, the floor is not completely flat. You will be sharing some feet, butt, shoulder, and leg space. But for the most part, it isn't too bad, and even headroom is still doable for anybody over 6 foot tall. 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque, twin-turbo V6. We have it in sport mode, which is the way you want to drive this type of vehicle when you have that much power underneath it. Starting off with the luxury amenities, you're going to get blown away, because even if you don't option the twin-turbo V6, you still have sufficient power, and you're going to be under 60 grand. When you're thinking rivals, it's hard to get that. And look what you get with this. An exhaust note that filters in. Road noise isn't too bad for the interior. They have acoustic windows for the front, so the sound deadening is pretty good. 21-inch wheels, you're gonna feel some of the imperfections, but overall the suspension soaks it up because it's a full independent suspension for the front and the rear. The steering has a little bit of weight to it, which gives that sport feel. And we're gonna just switch it back to comfort so we can enjoy the ride. I'm using the massage seats more or less, which starts with my pros and cons. You get that for the driver. The con, you don't get it for the passenger, and you're losing power seat adjustments. So the side bolstering and the cushion extensions, which I wish they would at least add a manual cushion extension to offset that. I like the 14.5-inch touchscreen, and where the rotary knob is more or less fine, just not so big on the rotary knobs to put it into gear. And the center cluster bulges out more so for the passenger, which is another con for me because you're losing a little bit of leg space, which I showed you in the interior. The sitting position, you sit up a little higher when you're going into the Genesis line opposed to the rivals like Mercedes, BMW, or Audi. You're gonna have more cargo space than Audi in this. The BMW Mercedes is a little bit longer, so that's why you have more cargo capacity there. The back seats, you can recline them, which makes it a little bit more comfortable, but even for headroom, you still have a sufficient amount of space. I'm not a huge fan that you have to tack on a $6,000 feature. Turn radius, more or less a stop point. Gonna receive about 2 in a par lane. Let's rock and roll. And to show you the braking, just drive smooth. The big problem that I have is Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is not wireless. The passenger side, you have that bulge, there's no pass-through, so you're losing a significant amount of storage. The door pockets also lack in that department. The back seat cushion is a little bit smaller, so it can make the ride a little bit uncomfortable for a long journey. And when you're going to add these features, you're expecting it to be a lot more comfortable, not just for the front occupants, but also for the rear. And what's happening with the automotive industry nowadays is they just kind of forget that people are sitting in the back seats. So we're not even getting power sunshades or manual sunshades. You have to upgrade features in which, once you start getting over 60 grand, I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but you need to start throwing these features in when you're classifying yourself as a luxury brand. Yes, we back it with some performance, and you're going to get a huge amount of savings compared to any rivals. But then when I'm thinking Infiniti or Lexus, I can get third row variants for nearly the same price and have a little bit more features. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Genesis of Newport Richey for giving us this 2024 Genesis GV70 for our car review. Oh, and look, I didn't get pulled over this time. He did follow me, so it's just one of those things that I have with my reviews. If you watched them before, I've got pulled over multiple times. This time, he just decided to get in front of me.